You guys, what if you could move things with your mind? Sending people flying, flipping vans overhead, and stopping laser bolts in midair are all easy when you have telekinesis. I'm talking about Eleven from Stranger Things, Andrew from Chronicle, Jean Grey from X-Men, Scarlet Witch, E.T., the Rainmaker, Kylo Ren, and so much more we'll get into today. In this video, let's take a closer look at the visual and practical effects of how each character was shown to have telekinesis. So sit back, relax, and let's get started. First, let's go all the way back to 1977 when Star Wars was first released, before it became a cultural phenomenon. Dude, chill. The world was introduced to a mythical energy known as the Force. But what is it exactly?
It's a power that Jedi have that lets them control people and make things float.
Yes. With the unlimited power of the Force, you could make anything float, like rocks and... yeah, rocks pretty much. But before CGI, the original trilogy had to rely on other tricks to show the Force in action. Whether it was throwing random pieces of junk at Luke, or swapping out Han's blaster for one tied to a string. Decades later, they use the same old-school tricks for a new generation of movies. But the Force, corrupted by the dark side, could open up new abilities that some would consider unnatural. But it wasn't until Kylo Ren where we saw the true extent of that power, like stopping laser bolts in midair, freezing people in their tracks, throwing people against a wall, choking them, pushing lightsabers back, and killing villains that could have been an email. For a sequel trilogy that may have divided the fan base, oh, why you gotta? No, don't do that. At least they knew how to bring telekinesis to life. But a few years later, and we got the lovable alien E.T. Can you guys just please stop screaming? It's easy to forget all the hype surrounding this movie back in 1982. People lined up for miles. He was on every magazine cover. We just could not get enough of this wrinkly son of a bitch. Modern visual effects would probably make things much easier now, but back then, they worked with what they had. After coming up with a unique design and integrating robotics into his face, they puppeted him around until he came to life before our very eyes. With all that settled, it was time to show off his power of telekinesis.
That was, me on a bike on a crane arm in a soundstage with a blue screen behind me. I was just floating up and down going, whoa, wow, amazing.
Just like the T-Rex roaring in Jurassic Park, the DeLorean going back to the future, Harry Potter holding his wand for the first time, E.T. flying over the moon was pure movie magic.
And when that shot came up, it just seemed like, we should do this with a real moon. We should get as much realism into this as we can.
After getting the perfect frame of the moon, they drop in tiny puppets in front of it, which back then was a great way to show characters doing impossible things. Before the more advanced visual effects, this method made you believe a telekinetic alien was flying his ass across the moon. But more than a decade later, and it was time to meet Matilda. This movie showed telekinesis in a lot of subtle ways. Since it wasn't about space wizards or extraterrestrials, they had to think of the most simplest solutions to make Matilda a master of mind manipulation. After practicing with a prop on a stick, the only way to sell the effect was to make perfect eye contact with the carrot that would be added in later.
She has to watch the carrot come to right here. I go, Mara, look at that piece of dust. And what? Look at the piece of dust that's flying toward you.
For this part, where Matilda levitates a picture, it was actually attached to a pole that would end up being removed in post-production.
And someone's sending a signal to someone across the room, and then the picture, the guy raises it up on a thing, and then I push it down. And pretend you're not seeing a 6'4" chap lie on the floor.
And by using that pole, combined with a skateboard, you could get a scene like this.
I think that sometimes when children are acting, they can kind of get in and out of it much easier, because for children, it's kind of more like pretending.
For this scene, where Matilda levitates a piece of chalk to write a threatening message to Miss Trunchbull, played by the same actress Phoenix's Aunt Marge, by the way. Bet you didn't know that. They hid a tiny magnet in it.
So you could move the magnet on the back of the chalkboard, and it would make the chalk move around on the front. We wrote all the letters on the back of the blackboard backwards so he could see what he had to do.
It's a good thing they chased her out, because she couldn't keep getting away with things like this. This movie was insane. Back then, practical effects worked well enough, but at the start of the 21st century, the shift to CGI started to give us some interesting characters.
I don't want to fix it.
In the weird and wacky world of X-Men, where people can run through walls, multiply themselves, and change channels with a blink, Jean Grey might just be the most powerful mutant of all. Whether it was shooting frisbees for target practice, grabbing medical supplies, or stopping falls, her telekinesis was a wonder to behold. It's a good thing the actress that played her didn't have to do a whole lot.
In this film, I barely have to do anything, thank God, because everything happens with her mind. She's really not physically active. I just get slimed once by Toad.
But in X-Men: The Last Stand, she finally unleashed her true potential. Damn, at least everyone Thanos snapped away came back. Well, this is just like murder. A decade later in X-Men Apocalypse, we were introduced to a new Jean. And while she could control all sorts of things with her mind, it was only when she began to lose it when we saw some truly intense moments.
Stop.
27 extras on wires were absolutely yeeted backwards to create this earth-shattering scene.
Look how badass that is.
When it came time for this mutant showdown in Dark Phoenix, they built the entire neighborhood with blue screen set up to extend them digitally afterwards. Creating this controlled environment meant they could do things like this.
Stay away from me!
They sent 2 cop cars on rails at 25 miles an hour.
And when the cars get to the end, it pulls the cables back and pulls the front bumper into the rest of the car. So it looks like an invisible wall, but it actually is all happening from behind it.
Add fake people inside and a 3rd car in the background, and the rest was easy. For a shot like this, they had to draw out what the destroyed house would look like, model a miniature of it to prepare, and hook up explosives that would achieve the effect. When she takes to the sky, we see her actually being raised on a crane while Quicksilver makes his way up to her. But even his speed is no match for her telekinetic abilities.
Physically, she can't go as fast as me, but mentally, she's most likely faster.
Now on to another world of enhanced individuals. It's time to talk about 2009's Push. Sitting at a 23% on Rotten Tomatoes, with critics saying it's like watching it from inside a spinning clothes dryer. This movie? No. You had bleeders who could disrupt sound waves, watchers who could see multiple futures, sniffers who could... we don't gotta talk about sniffers. And in the middle of it all was a mover named Nick Grant.
I'm a mover. Different than a pusher. Mover is telekinetic, moves things with his mind.
With a wave of his hands, Nick could use anything as a weapon. And just like with Dark Phoenix, wires were essential to push people away by yoinking them backwards. Later in the movie, Nick goes to confront the bad guys in a restaurant, and he uses his telekinesis like this. The transition from prop guns to CG ones was pretty seamless and allowed our hero to focus on talking. But when this conversation gets heated, we get to see what it's like when a mover meets his match.
A lot of the stunts and a lot of the special effects were happening live. And if we had a stunt where we gotta, fly a table across a room, we just hooked it up to some cables and launched it.
With the help of wires, we not only got shots like these, but also shots like this. But aside from sending guns at your opponent, they also had to create a telekinetic shield. A rainbow bubble mixed with a pretty unique sound effect. And when it came time for this final showdown, they used the same look for a telekinetic brawl. Of the many superhumans in this movie, Stitches, Wipers, Shifters,
They're fluffers and there's no fluff.
Movers had the most fun. By the end of the movie, Nick had gone through a lot, and it was about time for a well-earned vacation.
I would assume if I'm telekinetic, that means I can move things, including myself. And if that's the case, I'm going on vacation. I have to move myself to the Bahamas.
But a few years later in 2012, three friends were about to undergo a chilling transformation.
Listen to me. We can't screw around with this. It's too dangerous. Andrew, it's not a game.
After an encounter with a strange alien crystal, Andrew, Matt, and Steve gained telekinesis.
The ability to move, lift, vibrate. That's my favorite.
And for a trio of high school boys, this was a dream come true.
Getting telekinesis, if you think about it, is like the greatest opportunity of all time.
They start by practicing with a baseball in their backyard. For the first few shots, a real one was used.
That first shot, MBJ hit me in the face every single time. This guy's got aim like I can't believe.
But eventually it was swapped out for a CG one. They keep messing around, like building Legos or eating Pringles, but eventually they try out their powers in public.
Wait, why are we running? We don't need to run. What you looking at, girl? Stay in school.
For this shot, they filmed a teddy bear being puppeteered against a green screen and put it over the original footage to make it look like it was floating. It's all fun and games until Steve does this.
Like, that was the first time he really flexed the muscle. We were playing around in the store and, backyard with the baseball and stuff like that. I think this was the first time. And he just, I'm just gonna move a car. Yes, it was the black guy this time.
Moving a whole ass car was a little different than a stuffed animal, so it took a whole team of people to slide it around, eventually cleaning them out and recreating the shadow of the car underneath. As the story progresses, something interesting starts to happen. You realize that what began as a found footage film slowly becomes more cinematic, as Andrew uses telekinesis to do the filming for him.
Just like any of the three of us as teenagers that play video games would be able to do with the left joystick of our controller, and it's second nature to us.
It completely revolutionizes the found footage genre because it makes the camera its own being,
And with that, things start taking a dark turn.
Whoa! Andrew, stop! Are you crazy? Why did you do that? What the hell is wrong with...
Was it an accident, Andrew?
Andrew, who comes from a broken home, starts abusing his powers.
When someone who's had power stripped from them their whole life suddenly becomes rich with it, it messes with the mind.
Seeing the raw footage for this sequence, with all the wires on set that someone out there had to erase, and the perfect handoff of live action to CG double, back to live action actor, is seriously impressive. With a budget of only $15 million, this movie did a lot with a little.
I got so wrapped up in the making of the movie that sometimes I forgot I was making a movie. And then when I went and watched it, I was like, whoa, it's so cool. I'm really doing those things, and that's awesome.
Later that very year, sci-fi nerds were eating good with... Before Rian Johnson made The Last Jedi, come on, I told you to stop that! He directed a little movie called Looper, set in a dystopian world where time travel is possible. He also threw in another wrinkle into the story.
About 10% of the population has this TK mutation.
That's right. Random people all over the world develop a form of telekinesis, and while some never managed to do more than float quarters or twirl lighters around, there was one kid who was TKAF. Everything you see, from the lamps and toys on the table down to the heavy-ass furniture, were all raised up on wires. Even this poor guy, who did not make it out alive. Ooh, sorry buddy. As we get to the end of the movie, where Sid is injured in a field, we get the full display of his telekinetic powers. Now, since they couldn't tie strings to every blade of grass, because that would be, stupid, they went with CG grass, rocks, and dirt, taking their time to craft and layer every element. And once Sid sends out a telekinetic shockwave, it was time to bust out the wires again.
It was my first time on a wire. I'm floating in the air in the middle of this beautiful cane field, and Bruce Willis is on a wire behind me somewhere.
Sure, they looked a little silly, dangling in the air like NSYNC, but after post-production cleaned the wires out, added the grass back in, threw in some camera shakes and epic zooms, we got the final pulse-pounding look. But now, it's finally time to talk about Wanda. From the very first time she appeared in the post-credits scene of Captain America Winter Soldier, Wanda Maximoff, aka the Scarlet Witch, slowly became our favorite telekinetic Avenger. With her powers, she could hurl cars, stop falling buildings, create containment bubbles, send Cappy flying, shield against attacks, rip robots apart, and plunge you to the depths of hell? She ends up marrying that guy, by the way. Her signature move of throwing someone back required a lot of moving parts. A stunt double thrown backwards on a rig system, set against a huge green screen stage, and accompanied with a CG double, gave us some exciting displays of her power. But aside from all the CGI, a lot of what sold the effect was her hand gestures.
I think I do a lot more things with my hands than what makes the cut.
Hey Wanda, how do you screw in a light bulb? To further sell the effect, they would attach red light sources to her palms to make it look like the red energy they added in later actually lit up parts of her body.
And so I think I was just like so grateful that it didn't look completely ridiculous.
Combine those hand gestures and red lights, and extras being lifted on wires. But it wasn't always as easy as she made it look. For Avengers Endgame, she had some trouble with this scene.
Because I was trying to walk down like rubble aggressively. You can't look at the ground when you're trying to be scary. You have to just look at your, the person you're fighting. And I totally fell.
For a character that has evolved throughout a decade of movies and shows, starting bad but becoming good, then back to bad, then good, to bad, to good, bad to good to bad to good to bad to good, seeing her telekinetic powers evolve along with her was exhilarating to watch. But now, somewhere beneath the stars in a secret research facility, there lies a telekinetic girl named 11.
Sorry. I was just like, oh, there's a camera on me.
Can you believe Stranger Things has been going on now for almost 10 years? In that time, we've seen the main cast go from little kids to teenagers to full-blown adults. Holy shit! What are they feeding them at Hawkins? We've gone through a lot of changes throughout 4 seasons of the show. Changing relationships, changing outfits, even changing haircuts. But the one thing that has remained constant is 11's telekinetic powers.
The thing that's so great about 11 is that she can be this, superwoman kind of vibe. And then she can also be this vulnerable, very innocent little girl.
Back in season 1, they had their fair share of visual effects, like matte paintings, augmenting a live-action Demogorgon, using CGI to have it coming through the walls. But for telekinesis, they surprisingly did a lot of things in camera.
When we did season 1, initially the approach was to do everything 95% practical.
If it could be done on set, you bet the showrunners tried it, like making a Lego Millennium Falcon float.
A lot of stuff was practical with like a wire if I'd move things up. It was, really cool to do stuff like that.
Or making a Coke can collapse in on itself.
They had a little pipe under that Coke machine and they sucked all the air out, and I thought it was the coolest effect.
Or even just pulling the plug on a fan.
What she does with her eyes, what she does with her face. All of 11's powers, the hands, the turn of the neck, this was all designed by an 11-year-old girl.
She'd pull off a few more tricks, like slamming doors, making Troy pee himself.
Dude, Troy peed himself.
Get f***ed, Troy. Exploding Stacy's drink. You too, Stacy, get f***ed. And her signature move of knocking people back. Why you gotta do Pocket like that? Yeah, I didn't like Billy either, but that's a little too much. But when it came time for Chapter 7, The Bathtub, shady government agents chase our heroes down, and in a moment of desperation, 11 does this. Even though it took a few tries to get it right.
This is the ground, this is the van, it just went like this.
It didn't really flip properly.
And it took out a mailbox. And a camera. And a car. And a prop car.
When it finally did flip, they combined that footage with the kids underneath looking up at nothing, and you got the final shot.
This is easily the coolest thing she's ever done.
This is sick. This is such a heroic, fun moment.
As the seasons went on, whatever threat reared its ugly face, you could be sure 11 knew how to deal with it. Season 5 is coming out, guys, and I can't wait for her to stretch out her arms and scream one last time. Now, if you've made it this far into the video, enjoy this chill-ass montage of other examples of telekinesis.